Okay.
So if you hit play.
Do we have the video, guys? Okay. Good afternoon. I thought we'd start out with a little video introducing the Medic ECG.
They're forced to use equipment designed for the hospital, not the field. We created Resolute Medical to change that. Our mission is simple: to provide medics the equipment they need to save lives. Our products are specifically built for the rugged environments medics face when in harm's way. Our first technology is the Medic ECG, a compact, ruggedized 12-lead ECG weighing just 16 ounces and designed for use in austere conditions. The Medic ECG brings a unique set of capabilities to assist in the diagnosis and treatment of our warfighters. The Medic ECG is ideal for field deployment. The Medic ECG also facilitates remote consultation. A medic can send a strip via secure communication channels back to base for expert review. What other 12-lead ECG fits in a medic's rucksack? The device has automated interpretation. It suggests a diagnosis. This informs appropriate triage. In this case, the expert is advising medevac. Because the Medic ECG is rugged, portable, and small, it can remain connected to the patient in transport, all the way to the triage facility, capturing ECG data that may prove important to the receiving base or hospital. Though designed for field use, the Medic ECG is a durable and highly portable solution for base, hospital, or clinic ECG testing. It's a great device for screening new recruits or warfighters prior to deployment. The device can be used for early diagnosis of abnormal heart rhythms. The Medic ECG is a rugged, lightweight, powerful ECG machine designed for use in austere conditions. To learn more, visit resolutemedical.com.
Thanks, guys. So, just a little bit about our story and why we created Resolute Medical. But I got in this business about 15 years ago because my dad died in my arms of sudden cardiac arrest, and I didn't want other individuals to have to go through what I went through. So went to work for a different medical device company and ended up running our military sales. And the 3 individuals at this company ended up leaving. We decided to start Resolute Medical. But before we do that, we knew we didn't have the military experience that we needed, so we needed to go out and get a group of trusted advisors who could help us. So we put together a group of individuals who are kind of the lifeblood of our company. You may know these names: Lieutenant Colonel Jim Burke from the Marine Corps, Colonel John Drobnica, who is the division surgeon, Lieutenant Commander Jeff Williams from the teams, and Michael Arnold, just retired out of MARSOC. So with these individuals on our team, we felt that gave us the experience that we needed to provide our medics with the equipment they need to save lives. So why create Resolute? We looked at this and said, every medical device manufacturer out there creates the devices for the hospital and then tries to retrofit them for the field. And what we found was, because these devices were not created for the austere environments, the medics were forced to use suboptimal technology. So what we did was say, why don't we flip that script? Why don't we go ahead and make every one of our devices specifically built for the field, and then, oh, by the way, if you need to use them in the hospital, you can use them in the hospital. An example, your traditional conventional 12-lead EKG looks like a pizza box. Manual defibrillator, again, this was designed for the hospital, retrofitted for field use. Obviously, with your conventional 12-lead, medics are not going to take this out and use this in a fob or out in the austere conditions. So we saw this need. There was a need to provide a lightweight, highly accurate, portable 12-lead EKG. But it needed more than that. We needed to be able to evaluate the risk of sudden cardiac death in our warfighters. We had to provide rapid field diagnosis, facilitating faster and better triage. And we needed to be able to transfer those test results to experts via the comms back at an individual base. But it had to serve as an inexpensive, highly accurate, highly portable 12-lead EKG solution. So what we came up with was the Medic ECG. As the video mentioned, the Medic ECG, can I back up a slide?
You swipe the opposite direction.
There we go. The Medic ECG is extremely small. It's 4x6 by about ½ an inch. It weighs just 16 ounces. It's crush resistant. It's built in muted mil-spec colors. I'm not going to tell you that this is indestructible, but we've run it over with cars. We've submerged it in water. It's pretty darn durable. Number of benefits and capabilities with this. First of all, it's got automated interpretation. There's a lot of ECGs, conventional ECGs out there that have automated interpretation, but we'll get into where ours differentiates in just a few minutes. It also has early screening and risk prevention. This has been highly successful in the civilian world, which again we'll get into in just a minute. Remote consultation, field diagnosis, and again, the portability of this. With our automated interpretation, you can use this as a 3 or a 5 lead. You can also use it as continuous. It takes 16 seconds, and then you have an instantaneous interpretation. Now, where other conventional 12 leads also have automated interpretation, they can typically only pick up between 6 and 8 potential abnormalities. With ours, we can pick up approximately 32 potential abnormalities. Our algorithms have been vigorously validated. It was about 10 years in the making. Started out with a group of sports psychologists, or excuse me, sports cardiologists out of Seattle that got together to try and figure out, if we were going to screen our athletes, what would this need to consist of? This is where our algorithm decided to take place or begin. It's about 10 years in the process. We have a patent on our algorithm that can predict somebody's susceptibility to going into sudden cardiac arrest, which is also a highly differentiator for us. And it's been published in approximately 23 different journals of medicine, the vast majority of which are peer-reviewed publications. Now, there's no studies that have been done on our warfighters about the risk of sudden cardiac death. However, on the civilian side, there have been. There have been a number of studies done on elite athletes, both on the professional level as well as the collegiate level. What these studies have concluded is that because of the stress that these athletes put their bodies under, they're approximately 80 times more likely to go into sudden cardiac arrest than the average civilian. Now, again, there haven't been any studies done in the military, but what we've done is said we group our warfighters together with these elite athletes and feel as though they fall into this similar category. Additionally, the NCAA is coming out in the next 60 to 90 days with a recommendation that says that all of their high-risk athletes must be screened prior to participation. High-risk athlete is defined as an African-American male. What this leads to, though, is there's potential liability in the NCAA. If they're only screening their high-risk athletes and not screening all of their athletes, and one of those individuals goes down, parents find out about this recommendation, it can lead to liability. We also do a lot of high school screening. This is all volunteer-based. We can't go out and implement programs into the high schools just because of the fact that the cost associated with medical directors and whatnot. But it's been such a successful program that we currently have a 3-year wait list to screen high school athletes. So who's using it? Again, I mentioned on the civilian side, this has been highly successful. This is a list of some of the NFL teams, some of the Major League Baseball teams, a few of the universities that are using our device, as well as the U.S. Soccer Federation. 2 of the NFL teams that you'll see up there prior to the draft last year actually screened every potential individual they were looking at drafting with our devices, saying, before we spend millions of dollars on these individuals, we want to look at what happens down the road. Is there a potential that down the road there can be some sort of issue? Again, going back to what the need was, we saw a definite need for remote consultation and field diagnosis. Our interpretation validates what the medics' diagnosis are. Typically what we're seeing is our medics are not looking at ECG strips every single day. So it does one of 2 things. One, it either jogs their memory to say, yes, this is what was going on, or it validates what their diagnosis is. It allows the medics to screen and evaluate without evacuation to Tier 1 or Tier 2 facilities. Real-world example, we were talking to some people on the subs, and they said that they had an individual who was complaining of chest pain, couldn't figure out exactly what was going on. They had to submerge the sub. They had to divert their mission and medevac the guy out. Come to find out he had GERD. Again, this can be used as a tool to rule out cardiac-related events. Because of its small and portability, the patient can be monitored en route to the facility. And it can categorize medevacs as emergency, as I just mentioned with this real-life example. Again, the portability. This is a picture of my rucksack. As that video mentioned, what other 12-lead ECG can fit in a medic's rucksack? Okay, this actually, what I carry is a Panasonic Toughbook tablet. I carry the Medic ECG, and I also carry an AED. Now, what that does is it essentially gives us a 12-lead manual defibrillator, with the exception that it can't pace and it can't cardiovert, but it weighs 6 pounds. Every device that we ship comes with a Pelican case and nylon. One of the things that we don't want to do is to put our medics in a situation where they have to go out and try and find something to transport or put this in. So again, every one of our devices ships with a Pelican case and or nylon. You can use our device as a standalone. It works with any Microsoft-based product. We also do a la carte, where we can package that together with a Panasonic Toughbook tablet. And I mentioned also with an AED. With that, I'll open it up, Bill, to any questions.
So one of the themes that we have going on here today is the obstacles to innovation. What are the obstacles that you're facing in getting your technology in the hands of the warfighter?
That's a good question. The obstacles are really, we haven't seen anybody who says we don't like the technology. What we're seeing is it's new, though. It's something that they're not used to seeing, and it's something that there's a lot of thought out there that our warfighters, because of the because they're in such good shape and their age level that they're not at risk for sudden cardiac arrest, which simply isn't true. Again, these studies that have been done on the civilian side do actually say that they're more likely to going into sudden cardiac arrest. So it's getting that awareness and it's getting that buy-in.
As far as the whole .mil PF implementation, do our medics currently at the line company, line platoon, are they currently trained to read and evaluate an EKG?
So one of the nice things about our device is you actually don't need to be able to read a strip, because the device will interpret the data for you and will tell you if there's some sort of cardiac related event going on. There are medics that are trained, and again what that's doing is, because they're not reading ECG strips every single day, they're coming across different ECG strips that they don't recall what that is. So they're either having to go to a book and open it up to try and find what it is, or they have to send it to somebody else who can evaluate that. So what our device is doing is, one, interpreting that data for them. Two, it will either jog their memory about here's what this potential strip is saying, or it's reaffirming what they are thinking that diagnosis is.
Okay, my last question is, you referenced the civilian studies. Is there real hard data, whether it's conventional forces or special operating forces, where we have uniformed personnel suffering from cardiac arrest? Or
there have not been any studies done. What we at Resolute Medical are saying is, we think it's appropriate that we can group our warfighters in with those elite athletes, if you will. But to answer your question, no, there have not been any formal studies done.
So a study that's something you would want?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Sure, there's a microphone right there, or you can come up here and use.
This looks like a really good device. 6 pounds, though, is a lot. Have you looked at putting it onto like a smartphone or something?
We have. The challenge is with the software that we're currently using, it's not capable to be put into an app right now. But again, yeah, 6 pounds, and keep in mind that the 6 pounds is a total weight that includes the device, a Panasonic ToughPad, and an AED. The device itself, right here, only weighs 16 ounces. You can pair that with a